When you endure sufferings and hardship, it humbles you to a point where you're not relying on yourself anymore. Suffering can reduce self-reliance, and it can have us run towards God and to rely on something bigger than ourselves, because in suffering, we know that we can't save ourselves. We need something bigger than ourselves. So we rely on Jesus Christ. Suffering produces endurance, produces character and longevity, and character produces hope. And because of that character within us, it produces our hope, and the author and perfecter of our faith, Jesus Christ, he becomes our hope, and we look to him. And we say, man, Jesus, get us through this time. You have abolished sin and wickedness of the world. You can help us, and this hope does not put us to shame.
Verse 19. For this is a gracious thing, when mindful of God, one endures sorrows while suffering unjustly. It's an unjust suffering. It's not right. You don't deserve it. You know, I understand. And then verse 20, for what credit is it if when you sin and are beaten for it, you actually sin, you actually did something wrong, and now you're getting a beating for it. But watch this. If when you do good and suffer for it, you endure, this is a gracious thing in the sight of God. God is pleased when you suffer, when you didn't do any. Verse 21, for to this you have been called. Wow, God called us to this? God called us to suffer even when we didn't do anything. Because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example so that you might follow in his steps. Y'all, ladies and gentlemen, God suffered for you on the cross. He was beaten. He was rejected. He was spit on. He had a crown of thorns put on his head. He was stabbed. He was beat justly, but he did it for you. And all Christ is asking you, you're not going to have to endure like I did. You're not going to have to go through like I did. You're not going to have to go through the pain and suffering like I did. But if you could just take up your cross that I've given you. Your cross might be your husband. Your cross might be your wife. Your cross might be a mother or a dad. It might be your job. It could be anything. But y'all, trouble don't last always. It don't. Trouble is only temporary. The things of God are eternal. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying this morning? Come on now. All right. So, reality of pain in marriage. God sees the hurt. This is why he gave you this word. He understands it. God is not blind to your suffering. God knows. He knows the tears. He knows the loneliness. He knows the emotional wounds. Because Christ himself suffered unjustly as well. But Christ is the ultimate example of endurance. But I want you to know that nothing we endure compares to the cross. And so that leads me to tell you about my story. How you can take up your cross. How you can take up your cross. Because many Christians believe that the Christian life is built on convenience. But it's not built on convenience. It's built on everything you do to the glory of God. It's built on he's going to give you a peace of God which passes all understanding, so that even if you are in trouble, even if you are taking up your cross, even if you're going through some pains, it's going to be all right. It's going to get better. And so, as I told y'all before, I titled this, Most Christians Quit Right Before God Changes Everything. Changes everything. The inconceivable marriage testimony. Why I stayed through the abuse. Why I stayed through the abuse. So, y'all, I was in a marriage. Okay. And from almost day one, literally, almost. From day one, I was being slowly, methodically, meticulously, abused. I was being abused. Ain't no doubt about it. I was being abused. I was being manipulated in every way that you can think. And a lot of these folks try to get on here and make emotional abuse and spiritual abuse and all this stuff like this, mental abuse, a big thing. In some cases it could be, but again, take up your cross. But physical abuse and verbal abuse, these are some very, very serious things. Because somebody's putting hands on you or somebody is calling you out your name. It's direct. It ain't no workaround. It ain't no them trying to put the wool over your eyes or anything. No, they coming straight at you. You ain't nothing. You ain't doo-doo. You ain't crap. You're full of this. You are B or whatever, or you are, 304, or whatever the case may be. Or again, like I said, they're putting hands on me. Guess what, y'all? I had to suffer through it all. I went through all of that for years. And it was hard, man. It was hard. Now, I will be honest with you. Part of it was my fault. Or a lot of it was my fault. Because I was not doing it God's way. I sit up there and tolerated it without doing it the way that God had told me to handle it. And so I was enduring all this pain, all of this suffering, all of this abuse, when actually, if I had put into action God's way earlier, the deliverance actually would have come much earlier. I believe that. But I endured all of it because of pride, because of embarrassment, because of the children, because I didn't want to lose my wife. I did all of that. This is why I teach so much about, don't go with this stuff about happy wife, happy life.